This week's episode of JapanCast is brought to you by Site5. Visit tinyurl.com/jcsite5. Audible at audibletrial.com/JapanCast. And the JapanCast shop. Visit shop.japancast.net.
JapanCast.net。
ジャパンキャストのビデオエピソードへようこそ。ひとみです。
Hodo desu. JapanCast is the number one source for Japanese news, culture, customs, and language. This is episode 39. So, still lots going on in Japan. They're dealing with a nuclear reactor, all kinds of stuff. Stay on our Facebook page if you want up-to-date information. We try to post as much as we can as soon as it happens. So that's facebook.com/JapanCast. Good news is the version 1.5 of the app has been submitted to the App Store. The big changes are the audio button to listen to how the kanji is pronounced has been changed so that it's much larger. You won't accidentally hit the skip button.
Yeah, that was
a big complaint on that one, so we've got that fixed. Shake to erase. So if you start and you realize, oh, I made a mistake, you can just shake your phone or your iPod, and it'll erase it and start over.
Cool.
You can. We revised the self-test so that it's actually a self-test where you have to determine whether or not, yes or no, I did this right.
Right.
People wanted to slow it down to be able to stop and look at it versus letting the phone decide. And there's a lot of other little fixes here and there. So it should be coming out this week, hopefully, depending on how fast Apple approves it. Any other stuff? Nothing?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. We're trying to get back to normal episodes here. So, we are doing things a little bit out of order this week. We're going to do vocabulary next. Before we do that, though, we want to thank our donators, our supporters.
Right.
Thank you, guys. Without you, we couldn't continue doing this. So thank you very much for your donations.
はい、いつもありがとうございます。
And up next is some vocabulary. So we're going to show a news story after this, but I thought it'd be good to learn some vocabulary before we watched the news story. So what do you have?
はい。There are quite a few.
Quite a few.
じゃあ、the first one. 岩山。
Rocky Mountain.
はい。Because 岩、rock, 山、
Mountain.
mountain. はい。Next. 自費。
At one's own expense.
手作り。
Handmade.
避難所。
A shelter.
多くの命。
Many lives.
命 means life. Lives. 頂上。
The top or the summit.
10年前。
10 years ago.
退職金。
Retirement money.
600万円。
6 million yen.
食料。
Food.
水。
Water.
ストーブ。
Heater.
しかし。
But.
周囲の反応。
People's reaction.
冷ややか。
Cold. But this is not samui, and it's not tsumetai.
No.
It's only for how people react to something.
Right, or attitude.
Their attitude is cold.
And then, こんなとこまで来るわけない。
There's no way something, in this case it's tsunami, will come to this place or come to a place like this.
はい。 70人。
70 people.
この小屋。
This hut or this cabin.
一夜を過ごした。
Spent overnight or stayed overnight.
先見の明。
It's foresight or to anticipate something.
That's
Cool.
it.
Cool, that's a lot. There's a lot of stuff, though, that you guys, a lot of you should know. Well, one thing that jumps out always with me is heater. Because it's stove, not...
We say stove.
Right. So if you hear somebody saying stove, it doesn't mean what we think of in America as a stove. It
Actually, we do say heater too. Heater, but when we say stove, it's more like kerosene.
A kerosene
stove.
heater.
Heater, yeah. And then we say heater, it's more like, but we still use kerosene, but it's like air, warm air will come out.
So it's more fan powered. Is that what goes underneath the the table with the cloth?
That's kotatsu.
Right, but is the heater underneath that?
That's
Electric.
Yeah, light bulb type thing, really hot one.
Okay, and you don't call that thing a heater that's underneath it.
No, that's kotatsu. Just kotatsu.
Okay.
And then and it's not hot. That we call fan heater actually. Fan heater. So fan, 風? 風が出る heater because it's safer for around little kids.
Right.
Because it's not gonna get hot.
Right.
It's just the front, the air, the warm oil will come out.
Okay.
The kerosene
gets very hot.
heaters, I burnt myself when I was little. So my daughter Sarah did too. So
Yeah.
What?
Whereas we call all of those heaters. Anything that's producing heat, other than something like a wood-burning stove.
Right.
Then it would be a stove or a coal-burning stove. You wouldn't call that. But everything else is a heater, so it's kind of interesting that it's stove.
Yeah, stove.
Cool. Well, that's quite a lot of vocabulary. Rewind back and make sure you caught all that before you go on to the news item.
Right.
Before we go to the news, we wanted to thank Site5 for giving us our server and our bandwidth because we really eat up a ton of bandwidth. So if you're looking to host a website or a blog or anything like that, maybe you're using the free WordPress.com and you want your own domain, just go to tinyurl.com/jcsite5 and sign up with them. You can get a free 30-day trial by using the code FREETRIAL and just select a 1-month contract. Try them out. See what you think. I actually had a question this morning. I sent them an email, and I bet by the time we're done recording this episode, I'll already have my answer. Doing some domain changing and wanted to know what to do, and they're very, very good with tech support. So up next, we have our news item. So you've heard all the news, and before we play this story, we thought we'd talk a little bit about it. So it's a guy who lived in Miyagi.
Hi, Miyagi-ken.
Prefecture.
So where Sendai is. You know Sendai, right? By now, no?
Yeah, we've heard Sendai.
Sendai, yeah.
And from what I gathered, he was sort of the neighborhood crazy guy.
Yeah.
Everybody, he thought, was it either tsunami or earthquake?
Well, he knew that area is not good, doesn't have good
drainage or, the ground is not solid.
Not right. So if it's like big
earthquake.
Yeah, comes, then it will
Wiped
destroy
out.
Everything. So.
And he felt that building on the solid rock of a mountain.
Really, how many meters? I forgot.
It says in the
30 maybe? 30 meters?
So he felt that building shelter up on the solid rock of this mountain was the safe way to go, and everybody thought he was crazy. And he spent his entire retirement account.
I don't know if it's entire of his retirement, but
he took his retirement account.
6 million?
Yeah, 6 million yen. 10 years ago, right?
No, 10 years ago he decided to
build it. And so, and he built it himself.
Yeah, home, 手作り.
So
handmade.
He built these shelters, or shelter on top of a mountain.
Rocky Mountain.
On top of a rocky mountain.
Iwayama.
And put food, heater, water, all the stuff up there because he felt that his town was going to be destroyed if a big earthquake came, and everybody thought this guy was crazy.
Yeah.
But because of him, 70 people survived. 70 people came and were able to stay there.
So yeah, those 70 people who was laughing, for laughing at him. Ha ha ha, it was crazy guy. So by the way, his name is Sato-san. And the mountain was called Satoyama.
Sato's mountain.
Because it was his property, so Satoyama.
So he wasn't so crazy after all.
No, he saved 70 people's lives.
And now he's asked them to go back and help others.
Rebuild in the town.
It's a really, really great story. So let's take a look and see how many of those vocabulary words you can pick out. It's pretty tough because they've got an accent, and of course with guys, the way they speak is very kind of mushy, mumbly. But listen carefully and see if you can pick out those vocabulary words. And again, it's just a great story, so let's have a look.
宮城県の岩山に自費を投じて避難所を作った男性がいます。その手作りの避難所が多くの命を救いました。
まさかここをですね、利用するというふうなことは。
高さ30メートルほどの小高い岩山、その頂上に手作りの避難所がある。
ここから登ってたと思うんですが、
この土地の所有者、佐藤義文さん。地元で佐藤山と呼ばれる岩山に10年前、避難所を作ろうと決めた。
普通の地盤でないんですよ。ちょっと崩れ始まったら一致なんですよ。
退職金など600万円をつぎ込んだ手作りの小屋には食料や水、ストーブも用意。しかし周囲の反応は冷ややかだった。
まあこんなとこまで来るわけないよと。
そしてあの日、指定の避難所は波に飲まれ多くの命が犠牲になる中、70人もの人がこの小屋で一夜を過ごした。
そっちもあそこがなかったらば、おそらくあれでね、信じらんでね。
本当に、なんてお礼申し上げたらいいか。
佐藤さんの先見の明が多くの命を救った。
助かったということだね、その人たちに長生きしてもらって、なんとかね、復興に力をなしてもらって、やっぱりこの地元さんまだ住んでもらいたいね。
All right. So again, 70 people survived because of the crazy guy. So if you're making fun of that guy who's, putting survivalist stuff in his basement, maybe he's not so crazy after all. The guy who goes out and learns. We had a guy, I probably told you about it, who used to come to my parents. My parents have woods, and he would come and walk through, and he knew all the berries to eat and what plants were like for medicine and stuff. And everybody was always like, "Oh, he's kind of a weird guy." But when you hear stories like this, you think probably not such a bad idea to know a little bit.
Like these things.
So. Up next, we have some of your questions. But first, again, it's time to thank a sponsor, Audible. We have a new URL. You probably heard it at the beginning of the show. It's audibletrial.com/JapanCast. So you can go there and pick up a free audiobook if you'd like. And because of this story and what's going on in Japan, I have a non-Japanese related book as my pick of the week. But it's, Related. It's called How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It, tactics, techniques, and technology for uncertain things. And this audiobook has information on how to store food, how to deal with sanitation, gardening, livestock information, how to protect your money, medical advice, how to communicate if everything goes wrong, security, how to make your home secure, and then if everything goes wrong, how to get, and they say how to get out of Dodge when the S hits the F. So use your free trial to pick up How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It. Again, it's audibletrial.com/JapanCast. So up next, we have some viewer questions. All right, these are a couple of letters actually we got a while ago, but then the earthquake happened and we never had a chance to follow up. Jasmine had a religious question for us. She writes, I was hoping you could give some insight on Christianity in Japan. I'm a Christian and I'm planning on going to Japan this year. I realize that less than 1% of Japanese are Christian and there's a history of intense persecution. It makes me really curious about the average Japanese view on Christians. I've noticed that some emerging fashion trends incorporate religious idols for a morbid effect. Should I expect negative reactions from people, or are Japanese people generally open-minded about these things nowadays? In everyday conversation, is this sort of topic supposed to be kept discreet? I guess the first thing we were talking about is the intense persecution, because I hadn't actually heard about this. So what
we still had samurai. Yeah.
Back in samurai era.
Well, they just banned Christianity.
Okay.
And then to find Christians, the way to find Christians, they have this picture or like a wooden
carving.
Carving of Jesus or Mary, and let everybody step on it.
So
if somebody refuses, on the floor, and then them step on it. If somebody refuses it, then you're Christian.
Okay. And
jail.
You found out, though, that it wasn't really very effective.
Right. After, a while, people, step on it and then go home and then pray. Please forgive me. So, after all, it wasn't that effective. Maybe for the first few tries, but.
And actually, Samurai Champloo, if you've ever seen the anime, they dealt with the Christian persecution. It actually is through the whole story, through the whole series. Now, I will warn you, if you're younger, Samurai Champloo, I would say, is rated PG-13 or even R because of some of the episodes. But in one particular episode, the three main characters are brought out, and they're all these people lined up, and they have to go step on.
That's called fumie.
Fumie, yeah.
Fumi it comes from a verb humu, to step on something. Humu. Fumi is a noun, I guess, version of it. Fumi. And e is a picture, a drawing. Okay. So fumie.
So they were asked to step on the fumie. And one of the characters, Mugen, refuses, not because he's a Christian, just because he doesn't like people telling him what to do.
何の行列だこりゃ。
天に召します我らの父よ。
次。おい、なんだお前たちは。
なんだおりゃ。
見ての通りの踏み絵だ。わかるな。
わかんねえ。
だから隠れキリシタンかどうか判別するテストだ。わかったらさっさと踏むんだ。
嫌で。
なんだと？
俺は指図されんのが大嫌いなんだ。
It's actually a really good series. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend you take a look. I'll put it in the show notes, but I made tiny URL links just so if you want to go check them out on Amazon. Blu-ray version, tinyurl.com/JC Samurai, and DVD version, tinyurl.com/JC Champloo. So if you've never seen them, Really, really great series. And then the second part of her question is, you know, what do Japanese people think about Christians or Christianity? Should you mention it, or is it going to get anybody upset?
Well, I don't think so. We don't care, actually, unless you make him convert or something. Try to, you know, hey,
yeah,
you know, come to church with me or something like that. It might kind of, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a right way and a wrong way to go about it. I have seen Japanese Christians, not Western Christians, but Japanese Christians doing things that I was like,
really? This
isn't going to work. Yeah, and I don't remember where it was, but they were holding signs and protesting somewhere, and they were just, I mean, you guys probably have seen it. There's Christians who just go about things the wrong way, and they just end up offending everybody, and it's not helping their cause at all. And in this case, they were basically signs that you're going to go to hell, or you're going to burn in hell, or something like that. Repent, you're going to go to hell. And that's not helping, especially in a country that's only 1% Christian. That's, you know, so as long as you're not...
Yeah, we view them as crazy people.
So if you just mention it or you talk about it, if people might have questions, they might be curious, they want to know what's it all about if they don't know anything about Christianity. But if you go in and start going, you got to convert or you're going to burn in hell, you're not going to win any friends, and they're probably never going to invite you back to their house ever again. So
yeah, well, we let's see, what else? Christian thing. Yeah, we don't really care. Any religion, we don't care unless you bother, you know. Right.
Just don't be crazy. Right. Don't be offensive. Don't be...
And we view this particular religion, Christianity, Christian people, like they never get mad. That's how we view Christians. They don't get mad. Angry.
Right.
They're always like...
And that's true.
Calm and nice. No,
I'm a Christian and I never get mad. I never yell at anybody. Especially when driving in traffic. I go, God bless you! I'm awesome in traffic.
Yeah, you are, really.
I think you're a wonderful person. So, you know, that's true. Japanese view of Christians is 100% right. We will never get mad.
Well, because that's what I thought before going to high school, which was Christian school. And then our pastor was a guy who was very what you would imagine as a Christian, like very calm and quiet. And, we never get mad, even we didn't listen to him. We were doing something else during the Bible class, we were doing math homework. He's like, he never get upset with
You know what it's like? When I went to Japan, I have my image of Buddhist monks, is that they you know, do the that kind of stuff, and they have the bell, and they just pray all the time, and they wear the orange and they bald head and the yellow, maybe the whatever. But my impression was that they were dirt poor. They didn't do anything that they had to beg for their. And then I see them driving like Mercedes and Cadillacs. So my image was totally blown. So same kind of idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our next question from Carol.
Hi.
Carol writes, 6 years ago, when I was teaching English in Japan, a little 3 or 4 year old girl, once while I was in the lobby of, I think, a hotel, I cut her email short, said, Oshiri pen pen. I asked the Japanese staffer what she said, and he refused to tell me. Now, 6 years later, after viewing your podcast, I found out shiri meant butt. And I Googled pen pen, and it means smack. What kind of cheeky 4-year-old says, I'd like to smack your butt? Is that what she said?
Oshiri pen pen?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was right. Oshiri is butt, and then pen pen is the sound of spanking.
It's a sound effect.
Pen pen. So oshiri pen pen is used for two mainly two different things. One is parents, especially mom, will say, 言うこと聞かないとお尻ペンペンするよ. Which means?
If you don't listen to me, I'm going to spank you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's お尻ペンペン means spanking. Like.
What a lot of these guys will know it from, though, is number 2, which you see all the time in anime.
Yeah, but I did Google it, and then all I found was pretty much this parents.
Right, but you call it oshiri pen pen, right? When you spank
the
your
number
own
2, yes. This is
2.
used to make fun of somebody, like more like insult. And usually it's used with a gesture of spanking your own butt.
Spank your own butt.
Oshiri pen pen.
You see that all the time in anime. Oh, I was just watching, I'm trying to catch up. I've never saw the ending of Love Hina, and it's like 10 years old. I've never seen the ending, so I was watching last night, and that actually happened when a little girl character got mad at the main character, and she did that. So all the time in anime, you'll see characters spanking their own butt. So it's called?
Oshiri pen pen?
Oshiri pen pen.
So honestly, I have no idea why she said that.
I'm just a goofy kid.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So, we know all about Oshiri pen pen and Christians. What a combination.
Oshiri pen pen, yeah.
All right. Before we go, friends.japancast.net. Great place to go to find a pen pal or maybe girlfriend or boyfriend. Who knows? We have a highlighted member this week. Her JapanCast friend ID is GTA 16th. So GTA 16th. And she writes...
Okay. Hi, I'm searching overseas friends. I'd like to talk about something. My job is the librarian. My hobbies are reading books, playing video games, cooking, watching horse racing, and karaoke. If you want to talk with me, please send smile or message.
Cool. So, and yeah, she wrote in her profile that she loves horses. So, if you're a horse lover, here's the girl for you.
これって競馬? Like you bet anything?
It sounds, yeah, she said she goes to the horse races. I don't know if she just likes watching or if she is a gambler.
親父だ.
But she's in her 20s. I didn't write the age down, but she's like 20,
really? Wow.
23, 24, something like that.
I didn't know young girls would go horse racing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe she's looking for a sugar daddy. You know that phrase?
No. I don't so.
I don't think she wants to get hooked up with a guy who gambles anyway, because generally they don't do so well. Unless they're really rich and can afford to lose every week. Anyway, we really love getting your questions. So send them to hitomi@japancast.net. We'll try to answer them on a future show.
Hi.
Anything else? No? All right. Thank you guys for your support. Until next time, Oshiri Pen Pen.
じゃあまたね。